Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be giving you my top 10 boxing gloves of 2024. So check it out. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here. Today I'll be giving you my top 10 boxing gloves for 2024. I know this is a video that many of you have requested, and it's taken me a little bit longer than I initially anticipated because I've been really busy for the holidays as well as trying to close things out before the end of the year. On top of that, these top 10 lists usually do take longer than my regular review videos just because I have to compile the top 10 list of gloves. And from there, there's usually a lot of thought process that goes behind that, and addition and subtraction. So I essentially look at the top 10 list that I put together, and there's some gloves I'll be like, you know what, maybe that deserves to be higher up, and this one probably a little bit lower. But keep in mind the level of gloves that are coming out now compared to 2 to 5 to even 10 years ago is so much higher. The bar has been raised so high that when it comes to these rankings, I'm kind of splitting hairs at some point. Some of these gloves are just so good that it's really hard for me to rank one higher or lower than the other. So with that being said, when I rank these gloves, the way I rank it is based off my experience. All the gloves on this list are gloves I've used. I'm sure you've seen me train with them in my videos on the channel as well as done reviews on the gloves. But my measurement of the glove ultimately is it a glove that I love using? Okay, I know that's a very general statement, but is it a glove that I find myself going back to? Is it, you know, I go back and I grab that glove compared to the other 4 that are sitting on the table. And yes, quality is a huge factor. Yes, the materials, the type of padding, you know, the wrist support, all of those do play a factor. Don't get me wrong, but ultimately for you guys that are watching it is how does that glove make you feel, and do you find yourself going back to that glove? And there was a couple of gloves from last year's top 10 list from 2023 that I put on there and people were caught off guard by it. They're like, oh wow, I've never even heard of the Eizo Supremes before. But now that I've tried them, man, I see why you've ranked them so high. And that's kind of an example that I use because there's gloves on this list that I just personally feel there are amazing gloves, even though they might not have the most popular name or they're not as well recognized as some others out there. For me personally, I just think they're awesome. And so that to me is ultimately what you should use to determine a top 10 ranking is, yes, all the small factors with the glove itself, but inherently, how does it make you feel when you use it? Something to keep in mind when I say that is comfort and how well you can make a fist. Ultimately, protection, I found over the years, is not so much how well padded a glove is, how much padding or how thick the padding is, or even the type of padding. It's really how well you can make a nice tight fist within that glove to get the correct fundamental punch down when you're striking your target. To me, that's ultimately what's going to help protect your hands, is because you're able to punch with the correct form. The other thing is how comfortable it is. That's a big thing for me. That's just me personally. Everyone's a little bit subjective, but for me, it's how comfortable the glove is. You know, I've had some really expensive gloves before that are really nice quality, excellent leather, amazing colorway, etc., but they were uncomfortable, and because of that, I found myself not using them very often, or they got really tight around the thumb, or the space around the knuckles was really open, or it was too cramped in the hand compartment, or my thumb was jamming. So I found myself not using those gloves as much. And to me, that's a huge issue, right? Not just for myself, but for any of you guys watching, is that if you're spending $400, $500, $300 for gloves, then you want to feel like you can use it all the time, right? You want to get the most return out of your investment when you put it into that piece of equipment. And when that happens, you feel like you have yourself a $300 paperweight, right? So that's, to me, that's the biggest factor. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that this top 10 list, I don't consider pricing when I put this particular list together for you guys. Yes, cost, I will mention that for each glove on how much they cost, but I don't use the cost to consider this top 10 list, because this to me is just top 10 glove regardless of pricing. So do keep that in mind. And one last thing before we go down and give you the top 10 is that as the years continue to go by for 2025, 2026, these lists will get harder and harder to put together. And the reason I say that is that the boxing glove and just combat equipment market in general is huge now. I mean, the bar has been raised so high compared to 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and especially even 10 years ago. You know, we have so many brands now, so many different models, colorways, customization, that it's raised the bar. So there's so much competition, which is a good thing because it forces companies to really step their game up if they really want to impress boxers and obviously the customers that are purchasing their product. So I think that's a huge thing. As the years go by, you're basically injecting more equipment into the market. And for guys like myself who review this equipment on my channel, I'm essentially going to be getting my hands on it, you know, obviously health permitting, that I can continue to train and put these videos out for you guys. And again, that's going to just be more and more equipment that's coming in. So some of these gloves on this list I'm about to give you are familiar favorites that you may know from past, and some of these gloves on this list are newer ones that are from 2024. So from my last list I did last year in 2023, I had an entire year of new equipment that I was reviewing, and some of those gloves ended up on this list after I had to kind of configure this and go through it and make sure that this list was accurate. So without further ado, here are my top 10 boxing gloves for 2024. Coming in at number 10 is the Reap of Faith Samurai Boxing Gloves. These retail for $99 on the Reap of Faith website. You can get these in multiple different colorways as well as sizes. They are offered in lace-up or Velcro. They're made of full genuine leather with multi-layer foam padding over the knuckles and a nice soft tricot liner on the inside of the hand compartment. And I believe the gloves are manufactured in Pakistan. These gloves are essentially Reap of Faith's Japanese winning-inspired boxing gloves. And to me, they're a better version of the Ring to Cage C17 gloves. Very well balanced and excellent training glove that you can use for sparring, hitting the bag, hitting the mitts, really everything in the gym. The multi-layer foam padding is more on the medium density side, and it's not too thick. So it gives you that nice pop and feedback that you're looking for, but with a good level of protection. Extremely comfortable hand compartment. And probably my most favorite feature about the glove is going to be the grip bar. When you put your hand in the glove and you slide your fingers all the way and you make a fist, that's probably the first thing you notice is that grip bar is nice and large, and you get a really nice tight grip around it. And that to me really puts your hand in a perfect position to land your punches and just makes the performance of the glove that much better. But overall, a very high quality glove, a great bang for the buck. Coming in at number 10 is the Reap of Faith Samurai Boxing Gloves. Coming in at number 9 are the Hit N Move Suvari Boxing Gloves. These retail for $249 on the Hit N Move website. You can get these in either white or black, multiple sizes, as well as lace-up or Velcro. They're made of 100% genuine Turkish leather with horsehair as the padding over the knuckles, which is probably my favorite feature about these gloves. And the gloves are manufactured in Pakistan. Now, I know a lot of you guys are no stranger to the Hit N Move gloves. They have their agility, their balance gloves, and now they have the Suvaris, which were introduced this past year in 2024. And by far my favorite gloves. And that's just me personally. I've always been a fan of softer foam padding over the knuckles, whether it's horsehair or a softer open or closed cell foam or even latex. And Hit N Move introduced the Suvari to kind of fill that void in their model lineup and quickly became my favorite glove just because of that. I like that softer, broken in feel when it comes to a boxing glove where you can open and close your hand to catch shots. Just more of that old school feel, and I feel like Hit N Move did a really good job of introducing the horsehair into the Suvari glove. The leather on here is amazing quality. The quality overall for the gloves is great. You know, when it comes to Pakistan-made boxing equipment, there's definitely several tiers of quality. You have some really low-end stuff that's not very good quality, and you have the really high-end Pakistan-made equipment like Hit N Move, Top Boxer. There's a couple out there that do a really fine job of making quality boxing equipment. I'd rank Hit N Move up there when it comes to the actual quality, stitching, craftsmanship. The gloves are extremely comfortable. It has like this really nice soft silky liner, similar like what Taurus Medina has in there. Your hand slides right in, has like almost like cool to the touch when you slide your hand into the glove. Kind of reminds me of like that material rayon when you put it in. Thumb is in perfect position. It's not too shallow. You get a nice placement of the thumb, and you can open and close your hand with relative ease and make a nice tight fist. Nice flat punch surface as well with Suvaris and the horsehair padding. Now this is a glove that's more suited to be a puncher's glove. If you're somebody that has a pre-existing hand injury, sore knuckles, something like that, you need more shock absorption. You just need more of a barrier, stiffer barrier between your hand and whatever you're punching. Then the Suvari is probably not your best choice for that. But if you're somebody like myself, you really like that flat punch surface, your knuckles to pierce through, then Suvaris are definitely a great glove for somebody that's looking for that puncher style glove. I'd say the one drawback I found with the Suvaris when I got it, and it's maybe just kind of a natural occurrence, is that sometimes you can feel some of the horsehair kind of poke through on the inside liner, and that's hopefully something that Hit N Move will correct over the years, or probably put some type of barrier between that. But something I noticed, but not a huge deal. But yeah, overall, my favorite glove currently from Hit N Move would be their Suvari boxing gloves, coming in at number 9. Coming in at number 8 are the Tigrao Japanese boxing gloves. These retail for $250. These are essentially a completely custom glove. Now, the story behind Tigrao is that he actually manufactured gloves for the Adidas Adashori Japanese boxing glove line. That's kind of initially where a lot of people had noticed his work, was when he was making gloves. And he still does make gloves for Adidas, but the Adidas Adashori boxing gloves. And it's essentially Adidas Japanese line of boxing gloves. And then Tigrao, he also makes gloves under his own brand, the Tigrao brand as well. Essentially what you have to do is you have to reach out to him through social media. You can reach out to him on Instagram. For me, it was through email. And then from there, when you order the gloves, you essentially have to go through email and do a little bit of translation, because he speaks in Japanese, so you have to use Google Translate. But essentially, the gloves, plus or minus, are about $250 and are completely custom. So when you order them, he sends you a form to fill out that allows you to pick your colors, the weight of the glove, the type of closure, and then from there, he gives you an estimate of how long the gloves will take to manufacture and then ship out. It took a couple months for mine for me to receive them. I got them in a white, metallic gold, and metallic blue colorway. Amazing gloves. For those of you that are asking, I'm actually going to be comparing them to Winning gloves in one of my videos coming up pretty soon. But a lot of people were interested in them because they're a Japanese-made glove. Anytime if something from a boxing standpoint is made in Japan, everybody wants to get their hands on it, and for good reasons. Obviously, Winning is the big name out of Japan when it comes to boxing equipment. So people wanted to know how these perform, how they compare to Winnings, etc. And they're awesome gloves. They're very unique liner to them. The leather on it's really nice, high quality. There's a couple areas that are very unique to the glove, like they're stitching on the finger, on the very end of the fingertip, to where maybe they insert the foam padding. Again, the liner feels a little bit different. The padding definitely feels different from Winning. It has its own feel, a little bit more of a firm style padding. The gloves are beautiful. I think they look amazing. Very nice, comfortable thumb, comfortable finger compartment as well, and just a very rigid and very rugged feeling glove. If I were to kind of compare it to like Winning, it's definitely more of a rugged feeling glove compared to Winning in that regard. But a very unique glove, and even at that price point of $250, you're getting yourself kind of a one-off piece of equipment. And compared to what else is out there now, that's, you know, Winnings are $500-600. $250 is a relatively good price compared to what's out there. But very satisfied with my Tigrao boxing gloves. So coming at number 8 are going to be the Tigrao Japanese boxing gloves. Coming in at number 7 are the Lucky Khaki removable padding boxing gloves. These retail for $362. Once you convert over from Euro to US dollars, this is a completely custom glove. So when you order these gloves, you get to decide the color, the size, and the type of closure, whether it's lace up or Velcro. They're made of full, genuine lacquered leather. And in this particular case, this is a very unique prototype glove I got, which is the removable padding type that comes with a removable pad that is a combination of foam and horsehair. So if you wanted to, you could essentially remove that padding and insert a different type of padding to give yourself a little bit of a different performance and experience with those particular gloves. The gloves are handmade in Russia by a gentleman named Kirill, who makes beautiful boxing gloves. This is the type of glove that's really hard to describe unless you see it in person. The lacquered leather on here on the gloves are amazing quality. They look and they smell amazing, very thick. The stitching, the welted seams, everything on the glove exudes just high quality. Liner feels really good on the inside of the hand compartment as well. You know, very broken in, soft feeling glove, more of an old school style glove. Thumb can be improved a little bit. I felt like the thumb was comfortable, but it kind of had a little bit of flair to it and a little bit more on the tightness around the thumb at the base. But overall, outside of that, if you're looking for a glove that has excellent popping feedback, with at least the configuration I have with the horsehair and foam, you do also have EVA on the back of the wrist support, which feels really good. And you're looking for a one-off custom glove that's amazing quality, that gives you that old school feel, then definitely these Lucky Khakis would be that glove. So coming in at number 7 are the Lucky Khaki removable padding boxing gloves. Coming in at number 6 are the Dinardo Tutela Evo boxing gloves. In the configuration that I got, these retailed for $1,350. I believe that there's a price range just depending on the configuration and how you customize it, between $700 US all the way up to above $2,000. So there's definitely a huge price difference between their like entry-level model to their highest end level model. Now I know a lot of you guys are familiar with Dinardo. These are gloves. These gloves are not for the faint of heart. They're not cheap gloves. These are very expensive. To me, these are more of like a timepiece type glove. Very much so like the Lucky Khakis, where it's one person making these gloves. They're very much a boutique glove. They're not a mass-produced glove. These are made of genuine leather. The Tutela Evo has a combination of layered foam padding, very comfortable liner, comfortable thumb, and has a really nice old school feel where you can open and close your hand. The leather on it is Italian leather, exquisite leather. I think the leather on here is amazing quality leather. Aesthetically, the gloves look very nice. You can get really cool colorways. If you want more of that vintage brown, old school look, you can go with more vibrant colors as well. So the fact that there's a lot of levels of customization gives you a lot of options. Very comfortable. To me, the Tutela Evos in particular, I haven't tried the other models. I know there's like an Equum 2, there's other kinds of models of padding. To me, is my type of padding, that softer padding where when you land, you get that nice feeling with your two front knuckles landing on the surface what you're punching. And overall, a very, very comfortable glove with really nice high quality. Again, not for the faint of heart, obviously from a pricing standpoint, but taking the cost away from a very nice glove that performs very well. This is the type of glove to me, again, that if you want to get it and then maybe pass it down to the next generation or give it as a gift to somebody special, this would be that type of glove for that. So coming in at number 6 is going to be the Dinardo Tutela Evo boxing gloves. Coming in at number 5 are the legendary winning MS series boxing gloves. Cost-wise, they vary anywhere between $300 to $500 on the Winning USA website. Now keep in mind, this is the glove that has a very wide range of pricing, depending on if you go with like a stock colorway, if you're buying these through a third party, there's a lot of markup out there, and it can go up even higher if you get one that's a custom or a rare colorway. Typically, if you get it in gold, silver, or if it has multiple colors on the glove, then you'll see a pretty huge increase in price when it comes to the Winning boxing gloves. This glove is made of full genuine leather with a layered foam padding. You can get it in either Velcro or lace up. As there's multiple different colorways. I believe that their stock colorways are blue, red, black, and white, and maybe yellow. I don't know if that's considered a custom colorway, but blue, red, black, and white, I believe, are their stock colorways. Everything else will be considered custom. And this glove really needs no introduction. I mean, this is one of those gloves that everyone in boxing and even MMA knows about. A lot of pros, if not all pros, use these gloves. And for very good reason. They've been kind of the benchmark for the longest time. That's why there's so many other brands that try to kind of copy their formula with the Winning kind of Japanese-inspired glove. And this glove really hits on all marks. Great quality, very comfortable hand compartment. You know, I'd say semi-broken in when you first get it. It does have a little bit of a break-in period. And the padding on these gloves is suitable for all training. So oftentimes when you're seeing the pros use them, you'll see them use them for sparring, particularly in sparring. But you also see them hitting the bags with these gloves, hitting the mitts with them. Sometimes you'll see them use the 8 or 10 ounce fight glove versions to hit the mitts with, just because they want more of a compact feel. But this is a glove that relatively has no flaws to it, outside of price, if you want to consider that a flaw, because it's expensive. So, you know, this is a glove that really has all the great features in it. If there is something that I were to critique with the gloves for both, I guess the lace up and the Velcro, is that, you know, the Winnings haven't always had the best wrist support in terms of the actual padding for somebody that's looking for something more rigid around the wrist. Then that's kind of the area I would say that's probably the most lacking if I wanted to be critical with the Winning gloves, especially the Velcro. The Velcro, when it comes to the wrist support, is really, there's nothing there. That's why you don't really see too many people train with the Velcro version of the MS series gloves. So that's probably the one area that I would say if I had to critique it with the Winning gloves, it's going to be the wrist support area. But outside of that, thumb feels really good, extremely comfortable. Finger compartment feels great. Liner feels really comfortable, that nice satin polyester liner. Leather quality is amazing. Stitching is always on point. So you really can't go wrong with the Winning gloves. The only problem now is that the prices on them are so inflated that it's hard to find Winning gloves at their MSRP. It's almost like a car that comes out that people scalp, you know, like a new Corvette. They buy it and then they go around and try to flip it for double what they paid for it. That's the only thing I don't like about the Winnings because of that. But still a very nice glove for what you got for what you're getting. So coming in at number 5 are going to be the Winning MS Series boxing gloves. Coming in at number 4 are going to be the Boxeo TM, the Torres Medina HHF boxing gloves. These retail for about $192 US currently. Once you convert from Mexican pesos to the US dollar, you can get this in multiple different colorways, sizes, as well as lace up or Velcro. This is essentially a boutique brand as well. And when Boxeo TM, you know, he typically carries several different colorways with different sizes at once. But with a lot of Mexican manufacturers, I call it seasonal, you'll see that they'll have maybe 4 different colorways available. And once they sell out of that, they'll come out with another different colorway and have multiple sizes. So oftentimes I always say, if you see a colorway and the size and colors you like, you might as well pull the trigger, because you might not see that glove again for a while unless you order them custom. But the HHF model in particular I like is because it's a horsehair foam model. So you get both the foam and the horsehair, which gives you a more broken in feel, really good feedback and pop. And for a high quality Mexican glove, you can't really go wrong even at the price point. It's a sub $200 glove. So you're getting a glove that's made of full genuine cowhide leather with that nice rugged Mexican craftsmanship with pretty much, if you want to call it, a custom colorway, right? Because you're not going to see too many people with the same gloves that you have. You're not getting yourself your regular run-of-the-mill glove that you might see 2 or 3 people at the gym have. Even Winnings, you might go to a pros gym and you'll see multiple boxers training in Winnings, where the Boxeo TM's definitely more of a custom boutique feel. So that's what I really like about these gloves. Very comfortable, excellent liner, nice silky liner, great feedback. You can use these for all of your training needs, for sparring, hitting the bag, doing mitt work, and just great overall bang for the buck. And I really love using these gloves, especially once they break in and you get that nice tight fist feel with using these gloves. You really can't go wrong, especially considering what's out there on the market right now when it comes to boxing gloves. So again, coming in at number 4 are going to be the Boxeo TM HHF boxing gloves. Coming in at number 3 are the Eizo Supreme boxing gloves. These retail for $139 on Eizo's website. You can get it in multiple colorways, sizes, as well as lace up or Velcro. It's made of a synthetic microfiber outside casing with layered foam padding over the knuckles and a soft foamy tricot liner on the inside of the hand compartment. Now, what makes these gloves so special to me is almost like these gloves are made specifically for my hands. You know, like when I started using these gloves and when I initially ordered them, I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't know much about Eizo outside of seeing one of my favorite boxers and prospects at the time, Kermel Moten. He would use these gloves in his training, and I would see him use it. I thought the designs looked pretty cool, and I was just really intrigued by the gloves because I didn't really see many people use the gloves, both on social media or in person at the gym. I saw Kermel use them, and I thought the designs looked cool, so I basically just took a chance on a whim and said, you know what, let me just buy these gloves and see how they turn out. And man, they completely exceeded my expectations. And the gloves were extremely soft and broken in, comfortable. Thumb was perfect. Finger compartment was perfect. The layered foam padding on the gloves, I was afraid that it would feel kind of cheap. And when I would hit the bag, it just would bottom out. But the foam on it is really perfect. Like for training, you can use it for sparring. Hitting the bag, you feel like your knuckles land flush. The padding is medium density, but it breaks in nicely. I don't feel like the padding is falling apart. The microfiber is a higher end microfiber, similar to what you would find from like Rival and some of the other brands that use, Phenom, that use a synthetic compared to a genuine leather glove. So the microfiber is actually held up really well. I use my Eizos quite a bit for, obviously for training and boxing, but I even sometimes leave them on to do push-ups, and I do like some kind of cross training. So in between like a 3-minute round, I'll do push-ups, I'll do lunges or some type of planks or something, and I always leave my gloves on. And the Eizos have surprisingly held up very well, even after about 2 years. So the Eizos, man, are just one of those gloves that are very under the radar. They don't have obviously the same name and exposure some of the other names out there have when it comes to boxing equipment. But I just love, and I always end up gravitating to using these gloves. So coming in at number 3 are going to be the Eizo Supreme boxing gloves. Coming in at number 2 were the gloves I ranked number 1 last year, which are the Bayoneta Premium Horsehair boxing gloves. These retail for $409 on Bayoneta's website. You can get it in multiple different colorways, sizes, as well as lace-up or Velcro. This is essentially a custom boutique glove. So if you've checked out Edgar, the boxing collector's website, you'll notice that he has really awesome colorways for this particular model. And again, like I mentioned before with the other Mexican gloves, it's kind of seasonal. You might see one specific colorway that comes in lace-up or Velcro with a few different sizes, and once those sell out, you might see a different rotation of other colorways that come into their inventory. So again, more of a custom boutique glove. These are not mass-produced. Made of full, genuine cowhide leather. The premium horsehair multi-layer glove essentially has layered foam with horsehair. So I believe it has like EVA latex horsehair in the hand compartment. Utilizes a very nice soft silky liner on the inside. Extremely soft, broken in, high quality glove. One of the best gloves I've ever used, and essentially hits all the marks, checks off all the boxes when it comes to comfort. You can make a nice tight fist, a nice flat punch surface when you land your punches with the gloves. For me in particular, I love the foam padding that is incorporated with the horsehair, so it's a little bit more of a flatter, and you can really pierce your knuckles through, but you also get a nice layer of protection, so it doesn't feel like your knuckles go all the way through like an Everlast MX glove where you relatively have no support there. Excellent wrist support. They put a huge emphasis, like a lot of Mexican manufacturers do, put a huge emphasis on wrist support padding, so it really locks your wrist in. And the gloves just look amazing. A lot of the Mexican gloves, they look just fantastic. They use awesome colorways, very unique colorways. The chances of you seeing somebody at the gym with your gloves is probably very, very, very like 1%, maybe even less than that somebody will have the same gloves as you. Unless you bought them the same gloves and you said, here you go, I want you to train at the gym at the same time with me and use the same gloves, you're not going to see somebody with these gloves at the gym. So there's that kind of that individuality to it as well. But just excellent gloves overall, excellent quality. They perform great. Customer service through Boxing Collector has been great as well. I'd say the only drawback with this is the cost. There's been a big price increase now to $409. Obviously, that's going to change a lot of people's minds. It may not change your mind. You might say, you know what, I'm still willing to pay that amount. Now, I don't know if that's attributed to the cost of labor and materials, or if it's just a price increase for a higher revenue. I don't know that. But there is something to be said when you do increase costs that, your customers are going to look at it and kind of second guess, okay, I was willing to pay $279 or $289 or $300. Now you're at $400. Now I'm starting to look at winnings more. Now you're starting to look at other gloves you may not have looked at, at that price bracket that's higher up, and you're like, you know what? Maybe I will get winnings after all instead of the Bayoneta. So that's my only thing I would say about, my only qualm about it is the price increases there. But just looking at it strictly from a glove standpoint, they're amazing gloves. So coming in at number 2 are the Bayoneta Premium Horsehair boxing gloves. And finally, coming in at number 1 are the Barric Boxing Vintage Gold Boxing Gloves. These retail for $549 on Barric's website. It comes in a black and gold colorway. You can get this anywhere between 12 to 16 ounces, and they are available in both lace-up or Velcro. They're made of full, genuine cowhide leather with welted seams and utilizes a combination of a unique proprietary NASA foam as well as curled horsehair over the knuckles to give it a very satisfying experience when you're using these gloves in your training, whether it's hitting the bag, sparring with the gloves. They just feel really amazing when you're using these gloves. And lastly, the gloves are handmade here in the United States in Texas by Richard Barton, who founded Barric Boxing. Now, the vintage gold gloves to me are really an evolution of when Barric started, or Richard started Barric years ago, and slowly started making more and more gloves and evolving his glove making trade into what it is now. And to me, the vintage gold is basically kind of that peak. Obviously, you'll continue to improve as the years go on, but to me, this is kind of like where you're looking at the peak of like glove manufacturing. There's a couple things I do love about these gloves is the quality of the leather, the stitching, the welted seams. You know, this is a glove that's made by one person, like a lot of the other custom gloves I've done in this top 10 list. It's done by one person, so it's not a mass-produced glove that's churned out and rushed out the door to send out to customers. It's made by one guy. He takes his time putting this glove together, and you can definitely tell in all the little details. You know, with the quality of the leather, very nice and thick. It reminds me of the quality of leather that John Gollum, the glove doctor, who's the original Everlast, sources for his boxing gloves. So just a different grade of leather, very thick. It reminds me of that type of leather you see like on an old baseball glove from like the 1950s that's still durable till today. And that's what you get with the Barric glove. It's a glove that's going to last a very long time as long as you maintain it. You know, again, another timepiece is kind of like the way my analogy of this type of boxing glove. So very nice, high quality. The stitching is immaculate. The inside of the hand compartment, the liner is very comfortable. Thumb positioning is very good. If I would say there's one opportunity, I would say that the thumb piping maybe it was a little bit tight. I think on my left hand, if I recall. But outside of that, that was probably my only complaint about that glove. Finger compartment felt great, and just that padding to me is the game changer. Another thing is that Richard also puts the padding straight through into the cuff. So the combination of the foam and the EVA extends all the way down into the wrist support into the cuff. It's not segmented, so you have one full piece of foam that's stitched in between, but it's all one piece. So it prevents the glove from being imbalanced and having a floppy center. So you have that all integrated into the glove. To me, where this glove really performs is you can use it for sparring, but for bag work. That's to me like the sweet spot. The foam on the glove is soft, but the more you compress it, it solidifies really nicely. And it has a really nice flat punch surface as well. So when you're landing on the bag, you're getting that satisfying feeling of connecting with your punch. But it does a really good job. That NASA foam does a good job of dispersing the shock over your knuckles, so you don't feel like you're getting sore knuckles or you're going to get some type of hand injury. And because of that, it allows you to punch with a lot of confidence. You can use all your power. You don't feel like you have to pull back your punches or let off a little bit of the gas when you're throwing your punches. You can use your punches with full intent, especially for a softer horsehair style glove. Where some other brands, you might have a horsehair glove, it's softer and you feel like, okay, I punched really hard and I can really kind of feel it through my knuckle and that kind of hurt. With this glove, you definitely don't get that sensation, in my opinion. So it does a really good job of kind of bringing both together, where you have the protection level you're looking for, but you also get that horsehair feel and that pop and that feedback you're looking for as well. And the gloves are extremely soft, very broken in. Quality of the laces are very nice as well. Overall, great presentation. Cost-wise, obviously, they're $549. Obviously, in terms of ranking, that I don't take that into consideration. But if you're going to compare it out to other gloves out there, it's kind of in that range between Winning. Obviously, Winning Bayoneta's up there in that price range now. You know, Dinardo's a little bit above that. So there's other gloves in that price range as well. I say the only thing that Barric doesn't have going for it compared to some other brands is that it doesn't have as big of a brand name as some of the other brands out there. But I think they eventually will get there as long as Richard continues down that path, putting out great products like he did with this particular glove, the Vintage Gold. Then I definitely think he's right down that path. But I think they're amazing gloves for what you're getting. And to me, again, just like the Dinardo gloves and even the Lucky Khakis, to me, these are like a timepiece type glove, in my opinion. Something that you get, you take care of, you hand down to the next generation, or you give away as a gift. But coming in at number 1 are going to be the Barric Boxing Vintage Gold Boxing Gloves. So in conclusion, I hope you guys enjoyed my video of the top 10 boxing gloves for 2024. I know it took a while to compile this list, but it took a lot of thought process to put this list together. I know some of you may or may not agree with the listing, which is perfectly fine. Whatever you guys have, comments, thoughts, put them down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have a happy new year, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.